to the Ricky Walter Show, and I am your host, Ricky Walter, your neighborhood mental health practitioner. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me preface the show by making this disclaimer. This is not a therapy show, and it's not meant to provide you professional advice either. And this show really is designed to provide you information and professional consultation to equip you to make informed decisions about your emotional well-being and maybe the emotional well-being of your loved one. Today on our show, we're going to talk about a very tough and difficult subject, and that is depression. You know, it is part of the human experience to occasionally have bouts of sadness. Now, the impetus of that sadness can vary from person to person and situation to situation. For instance, the sadness can be due to the loss of a loved one, or the dissolution of a marriage or a long relationship, or a child leaving home. It could be associated with an unmet need of an expectation. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you applied for, or you were denied the mortgage loan for your dream home, or you didn't get the grade that you felt you earned or deserved. But in many cases, sadness is situational and normalizes over time. And oftentimes people confuse sadness with depression. And so let me show you the difference. Watch this.
Depression is not just sadness. Depression is weight that keeps you in bed. While sadness is a tangible feeling, depression can feel empty, like nothing at all. Depression and sadness can sometimes look alike. But while it's easier to talk about what's making us sad, depression can be unexplainable and leaves us silent. In the end, depression keeps you stuck. Fun cannot fix it. Instead, it isolates you from what you love. Sadness is a very real and difficult emotion to process, but depression is an overwhelming numbness that requires professional help. Both feelings are valid, but if someone opens up to you about their depression, don't say, "I've been sad too." Listen.
Now, as you can see, there is a distinct difference between sadness and depression. Now, it is normal to avoid people, things, and situations that causes you to be sad. And we've all heard people say things like, "I'm just depressed." Most of the time, that is just a casual description of a moment. And as for depression, there was an estimated report that 10% of the United States population suffer with one or more type of depression. So what is depression? Now, the Mayo Clinic purports the definition of depression as the mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and a loss of interest. Now, clinical depression affects how you feel, think, and behave, and it can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. And a person may have trouble doing normal day-to-day activities, and sometimes may feel that life isn't worth living. It is more than just a bout with the blues. Depression isn't a weakness, and you can't just simply snap out of it. So what are some of the symptoms of depression? I would like to share a clip with you that can explain that. Look at this.
Depression is the leading cause of disability in the world. In the United States, close to 10% of adults struggle with depression. But because it's a mental illness, it can be a lot harder to understand than, say, high cholesterol. One major source of confusion is the difference between having depression and just feeling depressed. Almost everyone feels down from time to time. Getting a bad grade, losing a job, having an argument, even a rainy day can bring on feelings of sadness. Sometimes there's no trigger at all. It just pops up out of the blue. Then circumstances change, and those sad feelings disappear. Clinical depression is different. It's a medical disorder, and it won't go away just because you want it to. It lingers for at least 2 consecutive weeks and significantly interferes with one's ability to work, play, or love. Depression can have a lot of different symptoms: a low mood, loss of interest in things you'd normally enjoy, changes in appetite, feeling worthless or excessively guilty, sleeping either too much or too little, poor concentration, restlessness or slowness, loss of energy, or recurrent thoughts of suicide. If you have at least 5 of those symptoms, according to psychiatric guidelines, you qualify for a diagnosis of depression.
Well, I hope that was information for you. See, because there are a number of symptoms that are characteristic of depression. Now, those symptoms may be descriptive of what you may be dealing with right now in your own life. And being a person of faith does not exempt you from experiencing depression. Matter of fact, if you are dealing with depression, it didn't catch God by surprise. There is a scripture written in Psalms 139, 1 through 4, and I would like to share that with you right quick. And this is what it says. God investigates my life, gets all the facts firsthand. I am open book to you, Lord. Even from a distance, you know what I'm thinking. You know when I leave and when I get back. I'm never out of your sight. You know everything I'm going to say before I even start the first sentence. I look behind me and you're there. I look ahead of me and you're there too. Your reassuring presence, coming and going. This is too much, too wonderful. I can't take it all in. We don't want to admit it, but our churches are full of individuals who contend with depression every day. Many of them suffer in silence because admitting that you have a mental illness means admitting, in many cases, spiritual weakness, demonic oppression, and lack of trust in God. Wow, stop. Won't you watch this clip with me?
I'm a manic depressive, Candace. You know that it's an illness. It's an excuse. That obviously anybody who struggles with depression or any kind of mental illness is something that you hear a lot. That it's just get up, just get out of bed, just do it. You can fight it, just work against it. And especially if you're like Christian or you come from a background of faith, it's just lean on God, you know. And so sometimes you need that extra push. It's like, yes, I trust God, but I need somebody to physically help me get out of this bed today. Or I need a therapist to walk me through what it is that I'm thinking and the lies that I'm hearing and everything that's coming before me. I need somebody to help me sift through what's real and what's not and what is perceived and what I'm feeling deeply, but I can't put words to. And so it was actually really interesting in that to play that as deadpan as it was played, and hope that the audience really understands, like, her not fighting this or her not necessarily being in an uproar about it is years and years and years of journey having to hear this response to her feelings, hear this response to her disease, and try to deal with what she's feeling as well as kind of maintain relationships as best as she can. Me and you have had this conversation so many times, I really don't know what to say to you anymore. I physically cannot get out of bed some days. It's not like I don't want to, I just feel like I physically cannot move. Girl, please. And I think that that's kind of what we see a lot in the Black community is there's either a disregard or trivialization of a mental illness, whether it's depression, anxiety, bipolarism, whatever. It's either, yes, I accept that you have it, but you don't have to have this. Get up, just do it, just fight. And you're crazy if you think that somebody wants to lay in bed. If you're crazy if you think that this pain is something that somebody wants to have for attention. And so we have to start identifying these problems when we see them with each other, but more than anything, we have to start listening when people who are experiencing it are talking to us or are reaching out or are crying for help, and we have to start meeting them with real help. And that's something that I really hope that Giants does, is put a face to what this looks like in our friends and our cousins, our sisters, our brothers. When you see Journey and you kind of see her sporadicness, you don't just say, I know somebody like that. That girl's so crazy. You're like, I know somebody like that. I wonder if she's dealing with depression.
Now, this is a promo for a great show called Giants. That episode deals with depression and the negative perception and stigma perpetuated by the faith community. 2 Corinthians 4:16 and 17 says this, so we're not giving up. How could we? Even though on the outside, it often looks like things are falling apart on us. On the inside, where God is making new life, not a day goes by without his unfolding grace. Then it says, these hard times are small potatoes compared to the coming good times. the lavish celebration prepared for us. There's far more here than meets the eye. The things we see now are here today and gone tomorrow. But these things we can't see now will last forever. Depression may require long-term treatment, but don't get discouraged. Most people with depression feel better with medication and counseling or both. But please don't forget to add prayer, meditation, and scripture. Now, as promised, I told you we would have a question and answering segment of our show, and here we are. Our question comes today from Pam, who resides in Ohio. Pam wants to know if yoga and meditation are scriptural. Well, Pam, both yoga and meditation are founded in the religions of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. The word yoga means spiritual discipline. And the practices of yoga dates back 3,000 BC. Now, meditation, on the other hand, uses attention, reason, feelings, visualization, memory, and body awareness as objects directed toward thoughts, images, concepts, internal energy, aspects of body, love, and a sure awareness of God. Is it scriptural? That is debatable, but there is scripture that refers to meditate or meditation. Now, one of those scriptures are found in Philippians 4:8, and this is what it says there. It says, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. And there's another scripture written in Joshua 1:8 that talks about meditation, and there's another one in Psalms 1:1-3 that references the word meditation. So again, it's something for you to know, and you can think about it, pray about it, and come up with your own thoughts on that. Thanks again for joining the Ricky Walter Show, and don't miss our upcoming shows. But could you do a favor for me? Like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, nobody can beat you at being you. So be the best you can be today.